We are live. JLR Investigate. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Been having a little difficulty with my setting my time. It's not setting properly, but nevertheless, we are here and a possible sighting in this case that we discussed last night. Last night we came on late. We did a late live. We're talking about 23-year-old Jarod Neidlinger. He is an individual. Unfortunately, he suffers from mental illness, schizophrenia, and so this is a little bit of backstory. I'm going to remind people that are just jumping onto this case. Earlier this month, and we're talking about Georgia. We're talking about the Peachtree City area of Georgia and now Snellville. So to give you guys some backstory and history, because there's a possible sighting today, and the family are still searching around the mental health facility that he escaped from a few nights ago. So what a little bit of backstory about this case is he suffers from schizophrenia. And apparently earlier this month there was he had a psychosis state, and he's from Peachtree City, lives with his family, and he ran off and he vanished and disappeared, more or less just ran into the woods. And he was gone for 5 days. And there was massive amounts of searches, hundreds of people in that community, his family, friends, volunteers. They were out there looking for Jarod. Now, he ended up being found in the woods 5 days later, around the woods, somewhere out there, right? He was out there in the elements for 5 days. So they get Jarod, right? And then they take him to the hospital because he has mental health issues, right? So they take him to the hospital. And while he's there, he's actually hospitalized. He's actually handcuffed to the bed because of his mental illness and whatnot. And then over the course of that time at the hospital in the Peachtree area, what happened was they decided to get him further treatment, right? Further inpatient treatment at a better facility. So what they did, folks, is they decided to send him up to the hospital in Snellville. The hospital in Snellville, which is called Piedmont Eastside Medical Center, 2160 Fountain Drive in Snellville. So they were sending Jarod up there, and he was going up there in a transport van. It seems like one female was the driver. And they arrive at the hospital Wednesday night, around 11:30-ish, and they open up the van door. And there's not many guards or anybody there at all, and it's not a sally port. And then he just takes off. Apparently he's wearing yellow socks, no shoes, and he just takes off into the woods and runs away. And he was last seen at the Raceway gas station a little bit to the south of the hospital. But he hasn't been seen or found since. And the concern is, mental health. He's running around, and he's out there in the possible elements. What is going on? Now we have a possible sighting today, a day later. Now, we reported this last night. Now, they're reporting today in the groups dedicated to Jarod, in the groups, and they're saying in the groups that there is a possible sighting on a couple of roads. So I want to keep people up to speed and bring awareness to this case, because this case is not getting a lot of attention, and it needs more attention. The family is desperately trying to find Jarod. We're also going to get Magnolia in the chat to talk a little bit. So here's a flyer I'm going to share. I shared a flyer yesterday. I'm going to share a flyer again. We're going to play the news report to remind you again of what this situation is. This is Georgia. This is like a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia. But here's the flyer, folks. I shared a flyer yesterday. We're going to share another flyer today. Missing person, Jarod Neidlinger. Last seen August 14th, 2024 at racetrack at the corner of Scenic Highway and Oak Road in Snellville, wearing gray shorts and no shoes. So the no shoes aspect is like, wow, he doesn't have any shoes, running around it's very hard to run around on loose on the shoes, and I can't believe he was able to escape a mental health facility without shoes. So if you have any information that can help, Snellville Police Department 770-985-3555. Seems like I got another photograph, by the way, when he was running before. He was barefoot. He was running before he was barefoot. But what we want to do, folks, here's what I'm going to do first. is I'm going to keep you guys up to speed again on this particular case here. And I'm going to share the news clip that there's only one news report that I've seen thus far. I'm waiting for other ones. I do not know why the media is not reporting this, but this is a serious matter when you have somebody that escapes from a mental health facility, right, that was more or less being involuntarily committed. He's not a danger to, they're saying that he's not a danger to the public, so I just want to let you guys know that they're putting out that he's not a danger to the public. Is he a danger to himself? That's a possibility. This is the news report I played yesterday. We'll play it again and get you up to speed, and then we'll do the maps and everything like that, and I'll show you what's going on.
Of a 23-year-old tonight, loved ones of a 23-year-old man diagnosed with schizophrenia. They are desperately trying to find him after he escaped from a mental health hospital in Snellville earlier this week. Fox 5's Joy Dukes is live there, where his family meeting with police and volunteers to continue their search efforts. Joy?
Yeah, Eric. Rob and Lori Neidlinger, their son Jarod, was in a state of psychosis when he ran away from home earlier this month, triggering a massive manhunt in Peachtree City that spanned several days. Well, now they are here in Snellville, joined by police and other volunteers who initially helped finding him. That search party included 150 to 200 volunteers just a few days ago. Police, bloodhounds, SWAT officers, and drones also helped out over a 5-day period. Jarod was found in a wooded area around Peachtree City. He was without food and clean water apparently for several days. He was treated at a local hospital for dehydration and malnourishment, and then taken to a hospital in Snellville. That's a mental health facility where he was able to escape Wednesday night. His parents tell us they are concerned for his safety, his well-being. They say they just want to find him so they can get him the help they need. And they're asking people in the surrounding community of Gwinnett County to keep their eyes open. If they see him, offer him food or water, and if they see him, to call 911.
If he's here, we're going to try and look for him. But really, I think the big thing is to get a sighting so that we can reset the center point on where he's at and confine the search then.
Jarod was apparently last seen wearing gray shorts and a navy blue scrubs top. He was also holding a white blanket, and he was barefoot. They say there is a possibility he may have found other clothes. These volunteers you see here again behind me are going to be passing out flyers and canvassing the area over the next few hours to try and get the word out to the community. That is the latest here live in Snellville. Joy Dukes, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, hopefully they can have a safe return, Joy. Thanks so much.
Okay, so he's out there. That was a report. I played that yesterday, and he is out there, 23 years old. Now, I do want to put some information out. Again, we're not victim shaming or anybody like that, but he does, a couple years ago, he does have a criminal case, right? It's dealing with obstruction of an officer and interference with government property. He was arrested 2 years ago. I just gonna put that out there just for, public awareness, so you guys see. It's Fayette County Superior Court. So he was arrested. He had one problem with the law. I didn't see anything else out there about this, and I think the case has been resolved to a misdemeanor or something like that. But the issue is he was, you have someone that was supposed to get some mental health treatment and then just ran out and away without shoes, yellow socks. And here's a surveillance footage of that night around 11:39 Wednesday night. And he was, you can see he was being transported, no Sally port, just they pull up to the side of the mental facility, and he's in his vehicle here, and then he just there's another photos I'll show you, and then he just looks around and sees the coast is clear, and then just takes off and runs. So where is he going? What's going on with this case? Well, they're saying today there's 2 possible sightings. So, and it's really close to where the hospital is. So I'm going to get the hospital up here so I can show you a little bit. I want to show you a little bit what this post is. There is a Facebook group, and that his dad put out an alert. His dad put out an alert today, an hour ago. It is in the Bring Jarod Home Facebook group. And what it says here is it's dedicated to finding Jarod. Here's the flyer I read last night, by the way. 6'1", 150 pounds. Jarod Neidlinger. Fled Piedmont Eastside Medical Center South Campus at 2160 Fountain Drive in Snellville after being transported for mental health treatment. He is diagnosed with schizophrenia, causing him to see, hear, and interact. While not considered a danger to the public, Jarod is known to run from law enforcement. Last week, he successfully evaded search teams in the Peachtree City area for several days. It was like 5 days. So he's 150 pounds. He actually possibly seen at the racetrack gas station after he escaped on Scenic Drive and Oak Road around 11:30 p.m., 8/14/2024. Remember, that surveillance photo I just showed you was 11:39 p.m., so you guys know. So here's what they're saying. Here's what they're saying. The father put out a message right here and says, an hour ago, and his dad is Rob. He was in that news report that I just shared you. He has lots of photos of his son up. He said there was a possible sighting last night in Snellville, north of the hospital. Older man spotted barefooted man jumping fence into garden. Police investigating near Mornington Lane. Mornington Lane. I'm going to put that up on the map. If there is a credible sighting, then I believe he will be hiding in the nearby woods. I am heading back to Snellville now, about an hour out. I will be searching the woods. So the dad is going out there to search the woods near Mornington Lane, especially tall grass areas where he is known to rest to maintain concealment. So it seems like this Jarod likes to hide into the woods. So where is Mornington Lane? So I looked on the map here, and here is Mornington Lane in Snellville. It's right here. And I'm going to expand this out because I'm going to show you a little bit where the hospital is. The hospital is right here. He escaped from the hospital here Wednesday night around 11:39 p.m. That's the surveillance I saw, 11:39 p.m. And now his dad's saying he's going en route here. It's not too far, folks. So just in a matter of days, if this is credible, if this is a credible sighting, we're talking about just, we'll even do the distance here, directions. We'll do directions here. We'll do Piedmont. We'll just Piedmont. I'm gonna do the directions just to tell you how far it is away. So literally, it's 2.3 miles. If you were going to walk, it'd be like this. So 48 minutes, it's 2 miles away, but this is a longer route. If you cut through, you're definitely significant time. So I would say it's about 1.5 miles away. About 1.5 miles away. So the father says he's going to Mornington Lane around here, so just south. Now remember, folks, what they said was, and then I'm going to take this out here. What they said, let me get this back, that there's a racetrack gas station, which is over here. And they're saying that after the escape, 11:39 p.m. Wednesday, possible sighting at the racetrack gas station. So it could be a very credible lead here on where he could be. But in this general area, which is called Williams Place in Snellville, I would say significantly you would look all over the place. And you see there's lots of woods. We'll zero in on Mornington Lane just so we can see on the map the amount of wooded area. So it's quite possible, folks, and I looked here earlier before I went live. Look at this, the Watson Creek. The Watson Creek, and sometimes some people that are trying to avoid detection and escape, whatever like that, will navigate creek beds or railroad lines and things like that to try to, obscure themselves and try to hide away. Now, I just want to zoom this out a minute and go back to right. So here's the area where his dad is searching. His dad said he's going to go search there. He posted an hour ago that there was a possible sighting of someone barefooted jumping a fence into a garden. The racetrack is right here. The racetrack where they said that he was possibly spotted on the night. It's not that far. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this guy has been nosing. Here's the hospital. So I pretty much got maybe a 2-mile radius here, about 2 miles here, all in one map. So you got him. He's leaving the hospital. Unclear where he went from there. They're saying the possible spotted right down here, barefooted. And now you got a sighting here. I think this is definitely credible. I think it's definitely credible. I mean, considering that if you are a neighbor or you're living around the neighborhood and you see someone barefooted and hopping fences barefooted and it's not your neighbor, that would be a serious red flag. So he could definitely be, and you can see all in here. It's too bad they can't. Let's see if I can actually get no, see, for some reason they're not letting you do this. Is the road here. They're not letting you do like one of these maps. You can see the general neighborhood. So Mornington Lane. That's where the father's heading. But one thing behind here, it looks like it's just a creek bed all over the place here. So I don't know. But there's also been another sighting we're going to talk about too. We're going to talk about another possible sighting too, and this is a little bit further out. Here is the hospital. Here's the hospital. So, I mean, you have a lot of trees and you have another neighborhood, and enough to, like his dad said, kind of just blend down and blend into the woods. So, there's another possible sighting. I'm going to get this up too and show you the next possible sighting too. Everyone in Snellville should be on notice and keep your guard up, because we have another possible sighting too, a Ring app sighting. And what they're posting in the same group, and the police are looking into this. The Snellville Police Department is looking into another sighting too. And this one here, someone posted in the same group. They're like, a Ring app sighting. Someone on the Ring app posted they saw Jarod Friday morning at Lawrenceville Swanee Road between Lawrenceville Highway and Old Norcross at approximately 10:50 a.m. So it looks like he possibly did get picked up in a cul-de-sac and is moving north. Can the police and the media please report this and ask if someone picked him up to please come forward so we can find out more information? And they attached the Snellville Police Department, and they were like responding saying, are you able to inbox that person's information to us? So the police are looking into that. Now I looked on the maps. Let's get this on the map. This is the area that they were talking about. This is a road right here called, the road is called Lawrenceville Swanee Road. And they said it was between, the sighting was between this area, let me get back here, Old Norcross Road, and this road right here, which is called, I'll just show it to you. It's called, let me get this, it's that other road, I don't even know, it's Lawrenceville Swanee Road and Old Norcross. But this road here, I'll just show you an example. I forget what the other name was. We'll go back to the Facebook group. Lawrenceville Highway. So we'll go back. This right here is Lawrenceville Highway. This is Lawrenceville Highway. And this is Old Norcross Road. So somewhere in between here, they're saying that there was a sighting on a Ring camera, right? So I zoom this out. And this is, I want to put in and just show you how far it's away from the hospital here at this point, Piedmont Eastside Medical Center. And what you have here is, look, so the area here where they're saying that there was a possible sighting up here is 8 miles to the north. 8 miles to the north. So 2 separate sightings that we have in reference to this case right now. North or south. You got north here where there's a possible sighting here. And earlier, we just posted the other one just down in this area here on Mornington, that cul-de-sac area down here. Racetrack is over here. So you have an expanded out. This one, if this sighting is credible up here, you're talking about pushing north towards Lawrenceville in this area. How far someone can go barefoot, without shoes, unless he got some other unless he was able to sneak himself, get a pair of shoes or steal a pair of shoes. Hopefully he's not committing crimes, in the process of trying to avoid detection. But I have a feeling that he's somewhere out there in the woods, though some people speculate that he could work his way back to the family home in Peachtree. Now, last night, what we did, I want to show you something here. I want to show you something right here. Residents are asked to put water coolers outside because he may be looking for water. I don't know what apparently they had some storms up there the last couple days. But they were putting out alerts, and this one went out yesterday. There's other people and other volunteers involved with this, but they put out an alert and they said, bring Jarod home, 8/17/2024. This group was created out of the central need to allow the family of Jarod, one main group on Facebook, to gather and share information regarding their son. Here's what you need to know. Jarod suffers from schizophrenia. He ran away from his home in the rural woods of his hometown, Peachtree City, Georgia, on 8/6, and spent several days out on his own, wandering in psychosis. On 8/11, early in the morning, the Peachtree police were able to catch him and get him reunited with his family. He was taken to the local hospital to receive medical attention and to start a treatment plan for his mental health needs. After a few days in that hospital, he was being transported north to another hospital in Snellville, where he could receive better mental health treatment. Upon arrival to Piedmont Eastside Medical Center campus on 8/14/2024, he ran from the transport personnel and escaped custody into the nearby woods. He is not dangerous, and he will often approach people asking for water or food. Then he flees back into the woods where he feels safe. Last known location, Piedmont Eastside South Campus on Fountain Drive in Snellville. We showed that on the map. Some other characteristics and features of him: 156'1", 150, brown hair, blue eyes, wearing gray shorts, no shoes, and a blue hospital gown. Last sighting, possible sighting near the intersection of Scenic Highway and Oak Road, 11:30 p.m. on 8/14/2024. This is what people are saying, but I don't know if that can be true or not. Again, thank you everyone who continue to show up and help out. This community is incredible. Let's get Magnolia in the chat so we can chat a little bit about this particular case here. Magnolia has some insight to share, and I'm a little bit curious about the yellow socks. Maybe she can elaborate a little bit on this. Magnolia, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Hello.
Yeah, hi everybody.
Hello. So, Magnolia, thanks for coming in. What's your take on this situation here? You've been sending me a lot of these surveillance videos and stuff like that. He had yellow socks on without any shoes?
Yeah, when he escaped the hospital, he was wearing the yellow hospital socks that they give you when you're in the hospital. I guess each hospital has different colors, but the ones he had were yellow. And you can see them in the picture where he's, looks like he's making a run for it out of the van, the transport van.
Yeah.
So you can see he's wearing yellow socks, the blue scrub top, and gray shorts. And now they found those yellow socks.
Oh.
I don't know if people knew that detail or not, but when they first started searching for him Wednesday night, pretty early in the search, they found both of the socks, and they had a dog scent that tracked him a considerable distance, and then the trail, I guess, just ended. But yeah, so he's barefoot, and last time when he went missing, he was also barefoot. So he had just gone missing like the week before last, from his parents' house. He ran off from his parents' house, and there was a massive search that time too. And he was just found on the 11th, which I think was last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he had just been found on the 11th, and, you know, he was admitted to the mental hospital for treatment, schizophrenia. They say that he hears and sees things, and he sort of interacts with the things that he hears and sees in his mind, but they say that he's not a danger to other people. So he was undergoing medical treatment, and for whatever reason, they decided to transfer him to a different facility. And
the dad's calling it out.
You saw the parents' frustration because, you know, they had let the hospital know that he's essentially a flight risk. He has a tendency to run off from police, security guards, things like that might scare him. So it was known that he had this tendency to run off, and it just seems like the transport people were just not vigilant at all. Similar to what we saw with the prison escape earlier this past week, where same thing, he escaped from a transport van because I guess they just aren't paying attention. They're not being vigilant. They're just being complacent, I suppose. So now he's out there all alone again, and I think he's in the woods.
But how can one survive so long in the woods, like only so long without coming out? I mean, you're going to need water, right? Food.
Yeah, and a
unless
bunch
he
of
had
the posts
snacks on him.
Yeah, and a bunch of the posts that I saw, they mentioned that he has if he encounters people, he will always ask them for water. It's like a thing that he does. So some members of the community are suggesting that people leave water coolers outside, you know, in case he comes by their house or something like that. But yeah, he's known to approach people asking for water and food, but he apparently feels safe in the woods. So for a lot of people, that being in the woods might be scary. For him, it seems like that's a place where he feels comfort.
I want to share two things. I just want to get the weather in Snellville. Two things I want to get the weather. Okay, so two things I want to show. First off, I want to show right here, and stay with me, Magnolia. I want to show what Magnolia was talking about in reference to the reports. Now, this is a family friend, I believe, that has been posting, and they're saying, this is what I find interesting about this. Police have found both yellow hospital socks. A police tracking dog tracked the trail into a neighborhood northeast of the hospital. Now, this is interesting considering, we'll go back to the map here. This is the hospital. The dad is actually going southwest of the hospital today on Mornington Lane to search. But there were reports, and we reported it last night, like the dogs found a scent somewhere northeast in a cul-de-sac here. So maybe he just turned around and went another direction. What's your thoughts, Magnolia?
Yeah, they're having these different sightings that are all around this vicinity here. You know, it doesn't seem like I don't know, I'm guessing, but it doesn't seem like he has a specific destination in mind. He just may be drawn to the woods and not necessarily going any certain direction, and that could be why it's so difficult to find him, because he's just kind of wandering around without really any plan. But, you know, the thing about him being barefoot, I was laughing before because a lot of people who didn't grow up in the South don't understand. We go barefoot all the time in the South. Like when I was a kid growing up, there were some summers where I hardly ever wore shoes. That was just what we did. You know, we would spend all day going to the pool, walking around, no shoes. I mean, I still do it to this day. Sometimes I walk outside to the mailbox with no shoes, or I walk around a hotel with no shoes. That's just a thing I think that Southerners do, especially kids who grow up outside, and it seems like he's very comfortable outside. So I'm sure that he'll have some injuries to his feet, but you'd be surprised, because I used to be able to walk over gravel with no problem whatsoever. The only thing you can't walk on barefoot is black pavement, like black asphalt pavement. That's the only thing you really can't walk barefoot
well, speaking
on.
of pavement,
anything else, a Southerner can walk barefoot, no problem.
Yeah, speaking of pavement and crime land, thank you for that. I want to share the weather up there because, you know, if you're outside in the elements, it's not like someone can't survive when the temperature is going up to almost 90 every day, and the lows at night are only in the mid 60s. Anyone can survive outside there. So I know, you know, in the wintertime, it'd probably be next to impossible to be out there in the coldness. But this is weather where anyone, you could probably even sleep out there in shorts at 65 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
You know, as a, you know, the temperature's hot.
It's perfect camping.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect camping weather. If you live in the South, and that's actually pretty mild to have the temperatures at night in August to be in the 60s. So that's almost like dream camping weather, you know. So he seems like someone said maybe he has survival skills. It just seems that he's like an outdoorsy type person, and this is kind of like his safe space, being in the woods. It seems that he's scared when people approach him, especially if they're in a uniform or something like that. I just wish that this hospital had been more careful with him, because, you know, even though he may have survival skills and maybe he's good at running around in the woods and all these things, you know, there's all kinds of things that can happen.
Well, so how far can someone go without shoes, though, going through the woods? My thoughts are, okay, you're not going to be able to travel at 4 miles an hour barefoot or 3 miles an hour. So maybe he is just hunkering down the area, just kind of like, I don't know, maybe trying to play like he's like playing a game of Survivor or something like that, or a game like a cat and mouse game with law enforcement. He's trying to pretend he's a survivalist or something like that, and just walking around there like in the natural feel of being barefoot and just, you know, kind of hunkering down. I don't know why law enforcement, two things that concern me about this is, why isn't law enforcement putting out infrared helicopters into the sky, which I haven't seen at all, or something to detect heat? Why aren't they putting that out, as, you know, and why isn't this getting a lot of media attention? Considering someone escaped from a mental health facility, I think it's a big deal. And the family's putting out messages, you know, trying to find him and doing extensive searches with the Snellville Police Department involved.
Yeah, I remember with Cavalcante, it seemed to me like they waited a really, really long time before they started doing those infrared heat-seeking drones or whatever they were doing.
And choppers.
I feel like it was really late into the game that they started using that technology. So it makes me wonder if that type of technology is very limited, as far as like, maybe this police department doesn't actually have those resources, or maybe that they only turn to that as a last resort type of thing. But yeah, to me, it just seems logical that would be one of the first things you would do. Yeah. Especially since you know he's alive. So you'll get a heat signal because he's alive and running around. So I also worry, though, about his...
Well, just think about this, though. It's not like people are out there going to be able to assist this guy or even want assistance. I mean, if you were in the area and you were you're in a neighborhood and someone approaches you barefooted and just, you know, just comes out of the woods to you, are you going to help somebody like that? Like help them? I'd call police. I wouldn't sit there and give them something, allow them to go back in the woods barefooted. Would you? Like, I'd call the police.
Well, yeah, I think anyone that would spot him should call the police right away.
No, I'm just wondering, like, is there people out there who are helping him or something?
Yeah, so somebody did speculate that. So if you go back to the post where about the scent that was tracked, notice it says that the trail went cold in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
So some people are actually speculating
somebody picked
that
him up.
maybe he got picked up right there, and that's why the scent ended. So I guess it's possible that he would have someone helping him, but at the same time, if you look at the Facebook posts, it seems as if everyone who knows him, friends, family, whoever, they're all looking for him. So it seems like if someone was going to be helping him, they would alert authorities or they would alert his parents or something like that, because everyone knows that he's endangered. So it's hard to imagine there would be someone he knows helping him.
You know, a lot of people that struggle with mental illness, there's a negative stigma. I wonder if that's affecting people that are, you know, like as far as not putting it out there as much as, you know, like it's not the urgency or something because people are like, just a mental health guy on the loose, who cares, or something like that. I mean, I wonder if that's a factor because this has only gotten a very limited media attention, and this is a big deal, I think. Considering someone's out on the loose and, you know, someone is endangered and someone is struggling with mental illness that's out there, there should be a bigger sense of urgency of people, you know, putting this out, and I don't see it.
Yeah, well, I also worry, though, more than him being barefoot and all that, I worry about his nutrition, because if you notice, he's like 6 foot, what is he, like 6'1"?
6'1", 150.
And he only weighs 150 pounds. And I noticed there was a difference in his weight between the first missing flyer and now this missing flyer. Because remember, he went missing like 2 weeks ago. So there was another flyer out there, and I think it had his weight listed higher. But yeah, 6'1", 150 pounds is, to me, that just seems malnourished almost. And if you look at some of the pictures, he looks very, very thin. So I would think that food and water are extremely important right now. And again, a lot of the neighbors in the area and people in the area are aware of this, so they're encouraging each other to leave some water out, because he could be drawn to the water. He could see the water cooler and be drawn to it, and that would give them an opportunity to call authorities and say, hey, he's here. So they're almost like leaving this out there knowing that he'll be drawn to it.
Yeah, they just put out another possible theory in the group, and I want to share this because their admins and everyone is involved in this group. One, they're sending out prayers to all the volunteers, because it seems like now there's hundreds of volunteers, but it says, is it too soon for this to go national search for Jarod? Is it possible he may have left the state? Prayers for his safe return. And the admin says, that is not what we currently think in this situation, but without leads, it's hard to know. We would love to have national media coverage. We have been reaching out to national media, CNN, Fox News, and Nancy Grace. If you would like to send them a message too, that would be wonderful. So they're trying to get national media on this case now. And, did he leave the state? But here's the thing about it is, like, where would you go? Like, he's definitely not leaving the state barefooted. He would have to, unless someone is helping him, and unless he has money, I mean, getting on a bus, going to Atlanta, getting on a bus, going on a train. I mean, Atlanta is pretty much entrenched into the middle of the state almost, right? Or it's pretty centered in there where, to go to Alabama, it's going to take a few hours. To go to the north, it takes an hour or two, right? And to go south, it takes a long time to get to Florida, going down 75.
I would be genuinely shocked if he left the state, especially.
It just doesn't fit that
we have his dad posting about possible sightings last night in Snellville area. Older man spotted barefooted man jumping fence into garden. So, the police seem to believe that these possible sightings are legit because they responded themselves on Facebook to the tip.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would genuinely be very, very shocked if he was completely out of the area.
Yeah, and not only that, but again, it's not my thinking is it's not like he's running from the law. So he has everything to lose in a sense, right? Or what I'm saying is, when you hear the thing, oh, the person has nothing to lose, whatever like that. This is a whole different situation. This guy's not running from the law, though he had those criminal charges a couple years ago, but I think they've been resolved. It's not serious, and we're not, we're just putting that out there to get the information out there. There might be some things going on in his head, but he's not like wanted by the law, and he's not spending life in prison or anything like that. So, he leaves a hospital here. It's not like he's going to purposely not be found because he feels like he's going to be in prison forever.
Yeah.
It's not the case. But this guy, schizophrenia is a real deal. And some people feel like people are plotting against them, paranoia. The whole world everything triggers them. Everyone has, that has schizophrenia has some issues dealing with that type of behavior, right? I'm not a doctor, but I'm just assuming based off what I looked up at schizophrenia is like it's the, you feel like everyone's out to get you.
Yeah, well, and they said that he sees and hears things, and has different ideations that go through his mind. But I think that the goal of his parents, so when he ran off from the parents' home initially and he was found, the goal of his parents was to get him medical treatment. So what that means is they would have him admitted, possibly, involuntarily, and evaluated, and hopefully get medication that will help him. So because a lot of people, and even people in our chat, have said that, they have had family members that were diagnosed with schizophrenia, but as long as they're on their medication, they live a good life. They can live a good life. So the goal here is to get him the medication he needs, and he doesn't have that right now. So that's...
Could he also be going through a rebel in a sense of like, how dare they try to involuntarily commit me, and I'm fine, and I don't want to be in this hospital, and
he could feel that his parents are out to get him, or they're against him, or something like that. But it seems clear to me that they're looking out for his best interests, and they want him back.
They care. So, there's no dispute about that. I mean, they're literally posting everything on their Facebook pages. They care for their son. They're showing that they care by changing their Facebook profiles to his image.
Yeah, and it's just terrible that they were so relieved. Just think about how happy and relieved they were 1 week ago today when he was found safe.
Yeah, after an exhaustive search.
They were able to get him into a hospital, and they probably felt immense relief, and they probably were really depending on this hospital to help him, only for them to turn around and lose him after 3 days.
Yeah, and another thing too is like, I don't know the conditions inside these psych hospitals. I see people in the chat saying they're horrible conditions. Their solution is to just medicate people and strap them down in a chair and everything like that. And, you do hear, at the same time, people struggle with mental illness and they should get the treatment, but you do hear horror stories. Let's be real. You hear horror stories that go on in those psych wards, Yeah. And it could scare people to death. Like, I don't know, like, how somebody would feel if they get involuntarily committed and told they have to go to a mental hospital. That in itself could be very terrifying.
Yeah, I think that it depends on the facility because they're not all like that. I think Piedmont is.
It's a hospital, though, right? Piedmont is a hospital.
Well, Piedmont is a massive medical, I would say, conglomerate in the Atlanta area. They have many, many, many facilities, several different hospitals. I used to live in Atlanta, so I was part of the Piedmont medical system. You know, when you get the little app that's called My Chart or whatever, I was part of Piedmont, and I never had anything but great experiences with them. So, you know, and I've been to the hospital, and, you know, I think generally speaking, Piedmont is a good medical
They're saying
system.
They're saying there's 310 beds there, as far as the hospital itself, and our medical staff, 500 board certified physicians, 1,200 employees, and 400 volunteers.
Yeah. Piedmont is a massive medical company.
Well, it looks like they have 2 locations, actually.
This is not just like a one-off facility. They've got many different facilities and major hospitals. The hospitals are just part of their network. They've got tons of them. So, you know, this is a big, I can't say that this is all Piedmont, quote unquote, their fault. I think it's this specific facility that he was in and the people who were charged with his care and his transport. And those are the ones that should be held accountable. I don't think that you can paint Piedmont itself with a broad brush and say Piedmont's terrible. I think you have to look at the specific situation that he was in.
They're saying the South Campus provides a secure inpatient psychiatric facility for the treatment of adults experiencing acute behavioral health treatment needs. Since we are located at a full-service medical facility, our patients also have access to consultation by other medical specialists for non-psychiatric medical needs. So they're saying it's secure, but the whole issue with the dad was saying that the place was not secure, the way he was transported. And stay with me, Magnolia. I just want to get people up to speed on this particular post right here that the dad made. And this is when he was arriving to the facility the other night. And he arrived, and the father is saying, and this is what the father's saying, well, I'll remind you guys again, caution, these photos are going to infuriate you. You can only imagine how the photos made me and my wife feel. These photos were presented to us by the Snellville Police Department. Here are the facts as I know them. Jarod was diagnosed from Fayette Piedmont Hospital in the late evening of Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. The hospital coordinated a transport to their Piedmont Snellville East facility for psychiatric care. The transport arrived at 11:39 p.m. The first photo is Jarod scouting out his escape plan while the driver has her back turned to him. So female driver. There was no presence of security in the picture. So it's saying that he was scouting out looking, and the female driver had her back turned to him, no security.
Yeah, it seems like he was safe and secure in the facility itself, and it was the person responsible for transporting him that was obviously way too lax. In that front picture, it looks like he's just walking around freely, and then the van picture, it looks like he's just stopped for a pit stop and he's about to run into the store. I mean, he's like free as a bird.
Not necessarily so, though, because they're saying many facilities that handle cases like this have what they call a sally port or door. This is where transport can pull into and garage door comes down before a person is handed over to the facility. This facility has a normal ER-style overhang. So what he's saying is the van arrives up, but it's just out in the public right here. There's no sally port to go in, no garage to go in, no like secure place to go in as far as like you're behind a fence or a wall or a gate. It's just an open air thing. So he gets let out of here. So, I mean, in a situation like this where you're involuntary committed and you don't like it, you could pop out of the van, wrestle with the guards and just take off and run. And there's nothing to stop. Like, you know, it's not like the guards there would have guns in a psychiatric, situation. And they can just take off. Like at a jail or like at a courthouse. Like a lot of times in the courthouse, most modern day courthouses, when a defendant is going to court and they're loaded in the van, when they arrive to the courthouse or arrive to the jail, they go into like a sally port door comes up, they go in, it's like a secure building, and then it closes down. So even if once the prisoner gets out of the van, if they try to make a break, they ain't going nowhere. They're stuck in, right? So, you know, he's trying to say that they didn't have a sally port or anything like that, you know, so he could just take off.
Well, yeah, they don't have a sally port. So what are you going to do? You're not going to build a sally port overnight. I mean,
Well,
they know they don't have a sally port. So that means since they don't have that, their security should be extra vigilant, right? You know, as a driver, you're going to a facility that does not have that. And somebody else in the chat said it looked like he was just taking an Uber ride. Yeah, it looks like he's just hopped out. He just hopped out the Uber and is on his way. I just can't believe that they lost him so fast. It seems like they knew he was missing pretty quickly because the timestamp on that video was what, 12:39 a.m.
11:39.
11:39 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad, they were posting around, I think around 1 a.m.
He says 12:25 p.m. We got a call from someone at Piedmont that he got past EMM personnel and escaped into the woods.
Yeah. So it seems like that they realized he was missing pretty quickly, but it's like, how do you lose him that fast? Like, was she just not paying attention? Was she just sitting in the car on her phone, or what? Like, how do you lose someone that quickly to the point where you literally can't find him? You have to call a huge search party.
Who's the driver? How long has she been on the job? Is she qualified to do this?
Yeah.
Did they just hire someone to just play a taxi? Maybe it seems like the family's going to be taking legal action about this. The way I'm seeing it in the comments on his Facebook page is like they're ready to sue for negligence.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what it sounds like that this is headed.
You know, particularly what happens, God forbid, if he does self-harm on himself and he's found unresponsive somewhere.
So, David Robinson said he's been missing a week. So just to clarify, he's been missing since Wednesday night. So this happened Wednesday late at night when he was being transported.
His prior missing.
On the 14th. So he did go missing previously. About 2 weeks ago or so, he went missing originally. And there was a massive search, and he was actually found 1 week ago today on the 11th. And that's when he went to the hospital.
So
they got him to the hospital for treatment.
The original dates he went missing, they're saying he went missing on the 6th, August 6th. Yeah. From Peachtree, which is an hour and a half south of Snellville, or an hour and a half, 60-something miles, right? So he went missing on the 6th.
Yeah.
He was found 5 days later on the 11th by police. They took him to the hospital. He was in the hospital for a few days from the 11th, and then on the 14th, and then on the 14th, they said, okay, we're going to decide we're going to transfer him over to inpatient psych treatment at a hospital to the north. And then he went to that hospital, and then it happened. And it's weird, too. Another thing I find very, very strange is transporting people late at night. Like, I find that a little bit odd, too, that someone would decide to transport him on the late night. I mean, shouldn't you transport inmates and things like that in the daytime at least?
Yeah, it seems like an odd time to choose to do something like that. You know, that's practically, it's almost like midnight. It's kind of strange. It's
almost like the skeleton crew's there. Like, there might not even have security there because it's just, nothing goes on there at late at night. And usually these hospitals really just got this, like, I'll be honest, it's like their security's like rent-a-cop. And I'm not downing all security people, you know, security people do a good job out there. But, you know, the hospital people just seem like somebody's just, you know, walking around, you know, just having a flashlight occasionally or going around, you know, and it's not that serious.
Yeah, it looked like, when you look at the pictures his dad posted, it looks like a very casual scene.
Yeah, and it's actually at the hospital itself too. It's just like a hospital. It's like a security at the hospital. Like you go to the ER. Usually by the ER, you'll have a little security booth there, a little security thing, and you got a security person that goes around and just checks the hallways. I'm not so sure they check outside. Maybe if they get calls of something weird or whatever like that, and they got a button, they call police. If something's up, they'll call the police, and police will arrive to the scene. And now this place is in the business of transporting, mentally ill patients, in the middle of the night to the facility, and no security like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a very odd time to be doing a transport like that.
I know. So, anything else you would like to add? We did want to just keep bringing public awareness. It looks like national media, but he could be found at any time. We want him to found at any time, but this is the second day that we're talking about this case, and the family seem like they're caring. Dad's going out to this location to see. If you are in the Snellville area, folks, keep your eyes out for Jarod Neidlinger. 23 years old. He's 23 years old. And, what they said also, what did they say? Do not approach him?
I think just because he is easily scared off. Mm-hmm. So that's probably why they're telling people just to be careful and call authorities.
Yeah, call authorities. Let's pray that he's found safe, and prayers for everyone out there searching for him too.
Yeah.
Be safe out there and stay optimistic and hopeful. Thanks, Magnolia.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. JLR investigates. Let me know what you think. We are on this case. If he's found, we'll do a subsequent video, and we'll keep giving you updates based off what they're putting out there to try to help in any way we can and use our platform to share awareness. Again, folks, mental illness is real. A lot of people struggle with it, and praying for everyone that suffers from mental illness. It's a very delicate and sensitive topic. It's a taboo topic, actually. So just wishing this family will get a good positive outcome in this situation. So let's pray. All right, you guys have a good day. JLR Investigates. We'll talk soon. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.